What's going on, everybody? Crow and Rust here, back again with Core Expert Gaming. Today I'm going to have a Diablo 3 auction house guide for you, just a little bit about buying, selling, and flipping. So I actually had a request for this video. Somebody just was curious on how to sell their items, or I guess better way to put it would be they're having troubles figuring out the prices at which to sell them at. Selling the items, that's not hard. Knowing the value of the items, that is going to be the hard part actually. So we'll go ahead, I'm going to start out with the selling part of this video. So I have this Breezadoo Kianon. I actually didn't look up the name, so I could still be saying this wrong. But really, when you're selling items like this, or really any item, you need to know the value of the stats themselves. So that is something that you're kind of going to have to figure out. Like, if you're looking at a ring, let me just find a ring here for an example, like this ring. It has average damage, good high dex, and crit chance, which are going to be like the three most important stats on here. If that crit chance were crit damage, it wouldn't be as valuable. If that crit chance were attack speed, it wouldn't be as valuable. That crit chance is higher valued than crit damage or attack speed. Just things like that, you kind of got to play a while to get a feel for it and what people are looking for. So we'll start out with this item here, and on this item the chance to freeze is more valuable than the chance for ranged projectiles to pierce. Since this isn't like a level 63 item or has level 63 affixes, the damage isn't as important. So really modifiers like sockets, or socket really is going to be the best one that you're going to be looking for on this. Or maybe a dex vit roll, something like that, because you're going to be using this on your scoundrel, and your scoundrel uses dex. So that's kind of like the information you're going to need to have when you're starting out to sell items. So we'll go look this up. It had 7.2 chance to freeze. We'll switch it by buyout. And this one was actually just posted here, 7.6. It's actually a pretty good buy. I think it is a little underpriced though. A little bit extreme. See 5.2, 6.7, 6.1, 6.7, 5, and there's one, 7.6. So really you could say it's going to be anywhere from 5 mil to 10 mil, but I can guarantee you this one that's sitting here at 5 mil will be selling. Guaranteed. Maybe 5-6 hours from now it'll be gone. So if you're not looking to sell it fast, I wouldn't recommend throwing it up for 10 mil like this guy did, since he's kind of like setting the price there, because he put that one, see 6.8, go a little further, 8.3. So I really don't see this 10 mil one selling either, because there's this one for 2 mil more that's got 8.3% chance to freeze on it. And this one, its extra bonus stat was experience, which isn't that important really. So I think we had one with a socket here, maybe. There was one with the socket right there. So that's going to be a really good stat on this, because you can throw the new Marquise Rubies in there to add a whole bunch of bonus damage. Or if you had them stacked with crit chance, you could throw a green ruby in there. Or emerald, I mean. Excuse me. So I'd say anywhere from like 7 mil to 10 mil, because this 5 mil one is going to be selling for sure. So I'd probably throw this one up for about 8.5 mil, something like that. If you're not looking to sell it fast, you know, you could just undercut this guy maybe a little bit. But I don't know, I don't totally care. I'm not worried about hanging on to my item. I do kind of want to get rid of it, so I will just go ahead, throw it up for like 1.5 mil. And whenever I sell items, I don't throw them up for the exact value. Like say I'm trying to do 1.5 mil. You see here, I just threw it up for actually 8 mil and 490,000. I realize I said 1.5 mil back there, but 8.5 mil, I'll throw something up for 849,000. 8,490,000. Okay, let's get it right there. And the reason for that is, just like when you go to Walmart and you see something and it's $1, it's going to actually be like 97 cents. It's not going to be that dollar value. Or you see something for $10, it's going to be $9.99. It's just a marketing ploy, and it does work, and all the big companies have done research on things like this. I haven't really gotten into it. Just know that it works, and it does help. So I'm going to go ahead, create that. Let's see, I actually purchased that for my last video. I got it for 6 mil. So I think I got a pretty decent deal on it. Had the highest Pierce chance possible. So I think at $1.5 million it'll probably sell if I drop it down to like, or said $1.5 million, at 8.5 mil I do think it's going to sell. If I were to drop it down to like 7.5 maybe, I think it's pretty much guaranteed sell. So go ahead, we'll check out one more item that's not that great. We'll do like a Manicore, or actually we'll do something like this here. I just did a legendary. So with this, easy way transferring the stats over is you right click and you can search for similar items, and on rare items it'll throw all the stats right there, as you can see, have them all in there for you. So this is a scoundrel token, so intelligence isn't going to matter, strength isn't going to matter, crit hit damage is good, physical resist, no one's really going to care about that. So this is going to be your 3 core stats. Now you can't leave these values the way they are though. You're going to have to drop them down some. If I were to search here, there's actually none with these exact stats. So you might be thinking, oh man, I have a really rare item. Not quite. Like something like this, I drop it down to like 195. The 200 value, it's not something you want to throw in there. And for the all resist, I dropped this down to like 55. I normally like to drop my all resist about 10. Crit damage, I'll drop that down to like 50. We'll search again. You can see here there's a whole slew of them. And this one, you can see it has Dex Vit, all resist, and crit hit damage. Really the only thing that's worse about this is it has a little bit less Dex and a little bit less crit hit damage, but it has more all resist and more vitality. So this is actually going to be pretty close here for 88,000. Go ahead, look at another one or two. Same thing here. This is pretty much the exact same thing as yours. It's just trading off a little bit of crit damage for all resist. So that's why you can't leave in those exact values, or they'd just be too high and they'd skew your results. So this one is going to sell. I guarantee you that for the price that it's at. And these ones, I'd say they're probably a little bit overpriced. So I would sell mine for like 150,000 or so. And again, if you're not trying to sell fast, you could try to start high, or if you don't have a lot of items you are trying to sell, and you're not worried about trying to sell them fast, and you're not worried about cluttering up your selling items here, because you only do get 10, you could start it out a little bit higher selling price. But I normally like to get rid of things like this pretty fast. This isn't really the market that I try to worry about. Sell that. Now we'll go for like a mid-range item. Something like this here. I mean, it's not great, but it is worth a decent amount. So once again, we'll right click on it, search for similar items. And there's 2 ways you can go about doing this. You could look for it with Dex, or you could look for it with Fit. Or I mean with Strength. If it had Cold Resist or something on there, or Lightning Resist, or Arcane, or any of those, you'd want to be looking for it with the Dex, because one with everything is a stat, or is a passive on the monks, and it's something every monk pretty much uses. So that goes back to kind of knowing your items and the way people use them. So if I were looking to sell this, I would first search without Dex, and I'd do the Strength route. Once again, we're going to have to lower these, probably about 50, lower a Vit to 50. All resist is too high, put that at 50 as well. Crit chance, 4.5 maybe. You might want to bump it up to 5% a little later on. Something like this, you don't want to quite drop at 10 points, because crit damage actually is a higher valued stat. So we'll drop that down to like 25. Let's see what we come up with. We got one here, 4.5 crit chance. See, we'll search these by crit chance real fast. And we can see once we get to 6 crit chance. So this one's probably overpriced, I would say. This one for 71. Now, I'm not actually going to sell this item. This is my ring that I use. But it's definitely worth more than 12 million because we are 5.5% crit. So we're actually going to bump this up to 5%. See what comes up. So, not a ton here. And this is going to be the problem you're going to run into when you start running into medium priced items. So you might have to take off 50 VIT. And so you can see we brought up a whole new list of things. And you can just look at the stats. My ring's definitely better than that one. But it's pretty similar to this one, I would say, actually. So if I were looking to sell it, 65 million, somewhere in there. I did have life on, or not life on hit, but regenerate life per second. So that's not a very high valued stat in most people's eyes. There are a few out there who really do like it. So we'll go back to that other ring. And this one has lower strength, has lower VIT. And I think it had lower all res. Same all res, actually. Same exact all res. And crit chance is actually a higher valued stat, like I was saying, than crit damage, even though mine has more crit damage, this one has more crit chance. So yeah, I mean, like 65 million. I might try to sell it for a little bit more, but with this guy's ring up here, I would think his would sell first if I were to sell it for just a little bit more. So if I was looking to sell it fast, like 59 million, just to not, I'd say 60 million, but like 59 million, just so we're doing that whole thing like Walmart does for 99 cents. That would be a pretty good value for that. And then I guess we could look at one more here for the mid-range, and then we'll look at one high price ranged value item. So once again, just right click, search for similar stats. Take off intelligence. We'll drop the strength down to probably like, you want to drop it quite a bit here. I would say we'll try 95, we'll see what happens. This is just the thing, you're going to have to kind of test around. You don't want to just use one search results and stick with it. We'll take off cold resist. We do need to throw crit damage on there because it didn't show up. That amulet did have 7 stats due to it having an int VIT roll, or actually it's probably a strength VIT roll with intelligence, or one of those ways. So it does have 7 stats. The crit damage on there was 45, so we'll throw in like 37-ish. 10 crit chance is like perfect crit chance. So you're not going to want to drop it too much. We'll try 9.5 and see what shows up. So you can see there's one that's posted up here actually. And if I were to say it to compare, I would say this one's a little bit better. So 450 mil, not really what we're going to be looking for. Drop this down to 9%. We'll take crit damage down to 30. And actually it's probably our all resist that's throwing it off, because our all resist is high and it actually didn't drop the value. So we'll throw that down to like 50. There we go. We got a few more here. That's pretty similar to our amulet there. Ours has more all resist, but this one has more VIT, but we have more strength, and we have crit chance at 10. So in this one, this is a really nice amulet and has the 100 million bid there, as you can tell. And if you want to know if an item has a bid on it, hit the bid, and we're not going to actually bid on it. And if this number here were showing up at 100 mil exactly, you would know that it doesn't have a bid. But because it's showing up at 105 million, someone actually has the bid there of 100 million. So this item here just below this one is guaranteed to be worth 100 million, and I would say it's actually probably going to sell for more. It doesn't have a lot of life on hit, but just having that extra 136 is going to be pretty valuable. So ours is going to be sitting above 55 million, and depending on what this one was selling for, see how it has like 10 hours left on it? If you have time, you could like set a timer or just write down the time, be like, I'm going to come back in 10 hours. I'm just going to try to load this up, see what the item sells for. So if it sold for like 200 million, I would say ours is worth like 100 to 125 million, somewhere in there. But I mean, if it stays at the 100 million price, we're definitely going to be more than 55 million, in my opinion. So maybe like 75 million, something like that. Because we actually do have more strength. This one has really high crit damage and the extra life on hit, and a little bit more vit. And it does have the extra stat of dex, so that is really good, nice amulet. We'll move on to something that's going to be worth a couple 100 million. I have some IK gloves here, and they can only roll 2 stats. And this one rolled the attack speed and crit damage, because it always has crit chance. And the strength values can go from like 170 to 200, or from 90 to 100. So this one has the higher strength price as well. So we'll go ahead, we'll look up this. We're going to need to throw in crit chance, crit damage, and attack speed. And we're not going to probably see a whole bunch here. And for strength, like I know this item can only roll up, or for the highest value of strength, it can get at 170. For the lowest, being the lowest, I should say. So we have this one here. This is going to be a good indicator because it is at 99 million. I would say someone's probably going to be buying this out, so we'll go ahead and do it again, hit our bid, and you can see our value is higher than this 99,990,000. So this one does have a bid on it, so it's guaranteed to be selling. There's only one with 10 crit chance here. Go back, look at our values. So this one has high crit damage, but really low attack speed. So this is again one thing. You want to come back 24 hours later, see what this one's selling for if you have the extra time and you're not worried about selling the item right away. And for higher value items, you're going to want to do a little research, and you're not going to want to try to push it off right away. So we'll actually drop this strength down, but when we do this, we're going to be having to put this at perfect crit chance at 10. So we got one here for like 200 mil, and ours is better than this. This one was just posted. That one there was. This one's up for 444 million. Has higher attack speed, slightly lower crit chance, or crit damage, excuse me. And it has the 100 strength, so the strength value is lower as well. So I'd say with this market here, let me throw this just to do one more search. Kind of hard to tell. That's what I'm saying. About these, you're going to have to kind of watch. Like really, you would want to watch this item here, see what it sold for. If I had to guess though, I would say this item is probably worth around the same price as this one. 444 million, but not quite, so like 350 million is what I'd value it at for these gloves here. So that's it for the selling part. If you have any more questions, you can just post them in the comments, of course. I am more than happy to help you. We're going to move on to the buying portion. Well, that's it for part 1. The video ended up turning out to be a little bit longer than I thought, so I did just go ahead and split it into 2 portions. If you'd like to stay tuned to learn about buying and flipping items, you can just click on the link. I'll just probably put it somewhere like there, maybe there. Maybe it's going to be down there. You'll see it. It'll be in one of the annotations. So, thank you once again for watching. I'm Chrome on Rust. This is Core Expert Gaming, and please stay tuned for part 2.